Hi guys, Ratty from Inside FPV here. Thank you for attending this podcast. Just like to introduce everyone. We've got Gary Kent, aka JusticeFPV, Brett Collis, aka CollisionFPV, and Tom Stanton, aka Tom Stanton from Stanton Frames. Do you have a nickname, Tom, or are you just Tom Stanton?
My name's Tom.
Tom. All right. Well, hello and welcome.
Whoa, hold on a minute. Someone just turned on the light.
Tom's slowly going to get more and more professional throughout the podcast. You'll see his lighting rigs turning on, his microphone upgrading. He is a professional YouTuber these days.
Making a dollar.
Right. So the reason you're here is to discuss drone racing in the UK and around the world. We're going to talk briefly about last season, 2016, where we had a nice UK racing league won by the one and only Brett Collis, or Brent Collins, one of the two. Can't remember which one it was. One of the two. International racing scene. I understood all three of you attended some international races last year.
A couple.
Yeah.
Yep.
You are allowed to like talk and say yes and stuff like that. You don't have to just sit there quietly looking at me. And then we'll talk about upcoming 2017 season, what you'd like to see, what you think is going to happen, comparisons between the international races you've attended and the UK races you've attended, stuff like that.
Cool. Sounds good.
Okay. Well, should we start with you, Gary? Yes, you seem to be the talkative one out of the lot. Do you want to just tell us a brief bit about yourself for those that don't know the online celebrity that is JusticeFPV?
Yeah, my name's Gary, JusticeFPV. Been flying for approximately about just coming up to 2 years actually. It'll be 2 years in like April, May time, about April time, 2 years. Yeah, I fly for Tornado X Blades, Team Black Sheep, Racecraft. Yeah, that's
Get them plugs in while you can.
There you go. Too many teams.
Yeah. And you, Mr. UK League winner, Brett Collis, who are you?
Brett Collis, as you just said. I've been flying kind of radio control models for too long, pretty much, since I was probably like 8 or 9, and kind of got into drone racing. I think it was March 2014 or something like that, or first started.
I'd say 2015, maybe about September.
That when I first started crashing into stuff with them, pretty much then, and then kind of addicted ever since. Gone on to do that. Gone to the Euros.
Oh, you are addicted.
Exactly. Yeah. See, dual personality. Yeah. So kind of won a few events this year. Went to the Euros. Yeah. And I fly for Tornado X Blades, and I'm sponsored by AlignTRX.co.uk and Mastercard and American Express.
Nice. And finally, Mr. Tom Stanton, Stanton Frames.
Hello.
Hello. Well known in the UK for your frames.
Thank you. Yeah.
Your 3D printed planes, VTOLs.
Yeah, mostly planes lately. The wings are for the winter. Yeah. Yeah, I've been flying since 2009. Sorry, 2009. Started flying racing quads, probably about 2 or 3 years ago now. And then, yeah, just been racing ever since.
It's kind of taken over from all your other flying, would you say? Apart from racing?
Yeah, up until the last 2 or 3 months, I've been building planes instead.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure Gary loves.
Yeah, the wing hype took over. I don't even know this guy anymore.
Yeah. He used to be big in the helicopter scene. He used to be big in the racing scene, and now he just makes YouTube videos.
Well, he used to be big in the quad scene as well, but we haven't seen that guy for a long time now.
Nah. He used to be a contender. Now everyone's right behind him. Always chasing him down.
Yeah, our planes are quicker.
Yeah. So we'll cover a bit of the season just ended, 2016 season, what you guys thought about it. It was quite a lot busier than I expected it to be. We had over 20 events in the UK, plus all the international ones that you guys attended. So quite a busy year, really, for a relatively new sport. Do you think it went well? Do you think it ran well? Do you think the races were organised well? What would you like to see changed?
Well, I think over the season it's just been it's a bit of an evolution really from where we started at the beginning of the year. We were just working out. Well, remember we were in I think we were in Bracknell Sports Centre working out if we could fly with 8 pilots at the same time on 25 milliwatt. I think that's where it started, and then I don't know where we're at now, but I've been to some events with like 170 pilots. I think there were in France. So yeah, it's been.
How did you do in that event?
Pardon?
How did you do in that event?
I did all right. I didn't do too badly.
Yeah.
He's got the t-shirt on. He's got the t-shirt on for it as well.
Is that a nice bit of silverware in the background from that event, isn't it?
No, but that was early. That was early in the season anyway. So it was a good event. It was like my first proper international event. So it was pretty exciting, to be honest with you. It's the first time I met anybody outside of the UK from flying. Really, I've never been outside the UK and flown with anyone since then. Obviously, fly with you guys, fly with Banner UK and stuff. So you kind of judge your pace on you guys. But I had no idea what to expect when we were in France. And met some amazing people as well. So it was a pretty good year. It was a pretty good event. Sorry, say good year. Pretty good event. It was feels like quite a long time ago now. But if we're looking back on 2016, I'll probably put that up there as one of the highlights, just because of how many pilots were there. It was I don't think there's been an event with more pilots than that.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah,
well,
probably either that or Euros, something like that, but pretty close either way.
Yeah.
Brett, what were your thoughts on last year? You enjoy it? You obviously did, considering you won the league.
Yeah, the most important league in the world, right?
Yeah, the official UK drone racing league on ifpv.co.uk.
Yeah, I think it's pretty mental. Kind of when you look back on it, like at the start of the year, you looked at like the events calendar or such, and there was like nothing on it, hardly anything, maybe 3 or 4 events. And then by the end,
I was hoping we got 5 in total. That was my hope when I started the calendar in the league. We got 5 events.
Yeah, I think you underestimated the amount of work you had to do, Richard, on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then kind of by the end of it, and then kind of going to Ibiza for kind of the Euro Cup in the end, which kind of was good, placed well in qualifying, and then kind of obviously that came to a bit of an abrupt end with the weather. But yeah, kind of when you look back on it and how much I think the sport progressed in terms of from the start, just in technology, both in like the quads and the video. Like if you said to people ask me like, do you think digital FPV, for example, is going to be here anytime soon? I said like, this was like early 2016. I was like, no way, there's no way that's going to happen. And you look at it kind of the end in December when you're racing HD systems that like kind of.
Because you took part in the Connex Cup at the UK Drone Show, was that right?
Yeah, I took part in that and kind of won it across quite a few pilots.
Kind of just won it a little bit.
Yeah. And yeah, kind of that I think is kind of a game changer for kind of indoor events like in the NEC, because there's just no flicker at all on the video. It's perfect, and it just works at the end of the day. It's a much more enjoyable experience when you're not having constant multipathing. So yeah, hopefully that'll kind of push racing forwards for in scenarios where it would have been challenging otherwise with analog video.
Yeah, definitely. Once the price point comes down a bit more and it's more affordable to the masses as well, I think that'll definitely take over.
Definitely.
Well, hopefully we can run multiple pilots at the same time, so we can have analog pilots and digital pilots at the same time. As long as no one's going to complain about that. I mean,
yeah,
it's up to you what you want to run, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
Right, so I don't mind mixing the two at the same time. I've been to the States and we ran analog and we ran digital at the same time, and it worked perfectly. So I don't think it really matters. So whether it's a we can't just. I don't think it's a good idea to just say we can just run HD races, because not everyone can afford to do that. So I think if you can mix the two, then why not?
There's advantages and disadvantages to both, but it kind of should open up, especially on kind of outdoor tracks like with Connex and analog. You should be able to get 12 people racing at once. So as long as the track's kind of designed around that many people, it can kind of increase the spectacle of the sport, I guess, in terms of that, rather than just limiting it to 8. So I think 12 people racing, assuming the course is done right, should look pretty.
Yeah, it has to be quite a big track if you've got 12. We already know how bad the first corner can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're lucky to get 8
We'll be victims to that
anyway.
Yeah.
Like maximum, I think we're going to have 6, because then it leaves 2 channels free just in case someone has issues.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think 6 is quite a good number at the moment.
Yeah, especially that first gate carnage as well. It helps with that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And over to you, Tom. What did you think about the first half of last year? Because we didn't really see you for the second half.
Well, kind of the same as what Brett was saying, where I was sitting in lectures early last year, thinking like, there's like going to be no races this year, and then finished my exams. Thought I was going to have a free summer just practicing, and then every couple of weekends there'd be a race. Turned out I was just working and racing the whole summer. Didn't really get a full day off the whole time. No, it was really good. Yeah.
We're quite lucky where we are situated in the south, because if those who don't know, we're all quite local to each other, and I don't think we've had to travel to a UK race which is further than maybe an hour and a half away, something like that. No, definitely no more than about 2 hours tops.
Yeah, 2.5 hours, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, so we're all fairly lucky, to be honest. So
want to see more races that are a bit further away, actually, because
yeah,
at the moment it seems that all the races are being arranged around our area anyway. So I want to see more races that are like up north that we can go to, some big races.
Yeah, if there's good
Definitely.
big races, then we'll travel to them.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the Northwest guys are going to get some events going. JusticeFPV, hopefully gets a couple of events going, and we'll definitely have to travel up there, show them support, get their events growing. And I'm sure as more and more people experience it, more and more people will start organising them.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, so on to international events, which you guys have had the privilege of experiencing. Well, I haven't myself. How would you say, or what would you say is the main differences in the way that they're run, or what happens there, the size-wise, compared to what we have in the UK? Because we've got a fairly small pilot base compared to some of the countries, like 170 pilots, like you said, in France. I think our biggest event was about 65 pilots in the UK, something like that. So they're easily smashing us on attendance. What else, big differences, would you say there are?
Yeah, obviously attendance. I think there's a much bigger following in Europe, especially it seems to be mainly in France as well. There seems to be whenever I've been to an event, I've been to quite a few events there, and there always seems to be people, like a lot more people attending that than there are in the UK. And even at the Spanish Nationals, there was more people than attended that as well. So the European events, international events, are definitely a lot bigger. I wouldn't say they're on any more of a grand scale. National events are national events. They're all pretty much they've all been pretty much on a par last year. But yeah, the European events are definitely a better attended, I'd say. And I would say I think they're better sponsored as well. There seems to be a lot more sponsors in Europe than there are in the UK. So.
We're definitely lacking sponsorship and funding in the UK. So if anyone out there is watching and they want to invest in some racing in the UK, we've got the best guys in the world here. How would you say they run, Brett? What race did you go to internationally last year?
So I went to the Euros in kind of Ibiza, so the Euro Cup, which is kind of, you had to qualify for it. So I qualified at Weston Park in the UK, which is kind of run by us. And there was good parts to it, but there was also a few kind of, some of the organisation was a bit lacking at times. I think often some people try to kind of run before they can really walk, so they're kind of testing technology that's maybe not quite ready for it, and that can cause issues. But kind of overall, it's a good experience, apart from kind of the weather that kind of ended it prematurely in the end and kind of broke everything possible on the track, I think it seemed.
I think maybe the number of pilots as well should have been thought about a little bit more.
How many pilots did you have in Ibiza?
I think it was over 100.
Yeah, it was over 100.
It was over 100.
I think it's also maybe potentially kind of a language barrier kind of thing as well. As in, if you run 60 pilots in the UK, all of them pilots will be British and all speak English. Whereas if you go to like Ibiza, you've got people from France, Spain, Portugal, like loads of different nationalities. So sometimes it's quite hard to remember that you need to communicate information, and that can cause some issues as well, probably. Which some people
when English isn't your first language.
Yeah, because English always kind of seems to get used as kind of the communication language, but like it's not necessarily the most easiest to understand, especially when it can be quite technical what you actually need to do. So I think that can definitely cause some issues.
Also, everyone runs their race events differently, don't they? They all have a different idea of what they want to, how they want to change, sort the channels out, like when you come in for a race, do they take the quad or all kind of different things.
Yeah.
Because where did you compete last year, Tom? You sent off to Korea, and we tried to ship you out there.
Yeah, I went to South Korea. Luckily, didn't end up in the north, but yeah, no, that was a good experience.
And did their event run smoothly, or was it manic and chaos like some of the other European events? Or
yeah, it went pretty smoothly. There was a huge setup there. They're actually sponsored by I think it's Korean Telecoms or whatever, the same as RBT. So yeah, they had some pretty big sponsors behind them, and it was organised really well actually. Yeah.
The track there looked awesome.
Yeah,
like that was one of the best tracks I've seen. It was so.
That was the one on the beach, right?
Yeah, with the sand banks and the graffiti and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely seem to have more investment
on the ground as well.
Yeah.
Huh?
The arrows on the ground as well. They look really good.
Yeah.
Like when you play it back on camera, it looks awesome.
Yeah, all of our events in Europe seem to be very much we're just focused on the track, and it'll be like a gate and a flag and stuff like that. Maybe there's a few kind of more intricate things, but kind of the US and places like Korea definitely seem to have more kind of, the track is not just meant for you to fly, it's meant to look a bit more visually kind of appealing, I guess, which kind of looks better. So I think that's kind of probably kind of investment in stuff. Mainly
I think that we
kind
do
of the extra money.
We do have that like with the I-Series and stuff. That's all well lit up and all that kind of stuff. It's more the local events that are just gates and fields.
Yeah, I-Series is quite good with all kind of the lighting systems and everything, and kind of the dark adds like a different element to it, especially with the quads all lit up or something like that.
Yeah, more and more races are moving towards lit up quad. Seeing how well DRL looks with them all glowing and chasing each other around in colours. Yeah. So if only there was someone that made an LED controller board that made it simple to switch through colours, then I'm sure it'd do really well.
Yeah, check out Richard's YouTube channel for someone like that.
Wait, Brett, you don't have your little poster to like hold up with the logo?
No, I don't have a logo yet. I've been too busy doing other stuff to do with it.
Your little quad flying past in the background with a banner on it.
That's what I said. He should have loads of LEDs flashing in the background. Gary's got his silverware there. Look, I've got some TSXs. Can you see these TSXs on the wall here? They're all Stanton frames. But yeah, talking about events that you liked, if you could pick a favourite from last year, let's say a favourite UK event and your favourite international event, if you have one, which would you pick? Starting with Gary. Favourite UK event?
Favourite UK event? My favourite UK event is going to be Western Park.
Western Park.
The track was awesome there. For me personally, that was the best track I flew all year. It was so well done. It looked nice. It flowed really well. It had fast sections. It had technical sections. For me, it was one of the most perfect tracks of the year. I really enjoyed it. Like that for me would be the best British track that we flew. Apart from obviously the tracks we set up at our raceway.
Yeah, Reading FPV, FPV capital of the world.
Do you think you'd find it not as fun now, Gary, if we've like improved in speed? And like kind of setup wise, do you think it would be less fun to fly now with the setups we fly now compared to what you were doing then? In terms of Tom's just still stuck in like March.
I'm not on the hype train.
Yeah, I think it'll still be just as fun. I think we'll probably just go a bit quicker on the straights.
Yeah.
But the technical parts would still be technical, so you might gain a little bit of speed there, but it would. I think it'd still be just as fun. I don't think it'd be any harder, or it would be any more. It wouldn't be any easier. Yeah. You'd just make up a little bit of time on the straights. I think with the setups that we run now. Yeah. I don't think it'd be much different, to be honest with you. I'd like to go back and fly it.
It would be really interesting to go back and fly courses from last year, like it.
And it'd be amazing to see the same quads if you could do like a historical quad.
Yeah,
you go through.
It's just watching old videos. It's funny watching old videos. If you see, like when you used to think, "Oh, I'm really going around fast," and you watch your old video and you think, "I was crazy. That's so slow."
Yeah, I could run quicker than that. Is what some of them look like.
Favourite international event? Oh my god, that is difficult.
Wait, you said it earlier.
What?
You said it earlier.
My favourite? I didn't say it was a favourite.
That's why you said it was your favourite event.
My favourite British event was the Western Park.
Oh, no, sorry, your international event.
He's old, Tom. You have to forgive him. He forgets.
The viewers can go back in the YouTube thing.
Hang on, yeah. If he said it at the moment, if he said it when this is edited, will now be a clip of Gary saying what his favourite was.
Okay, because I don't think I said it. So let's go back.
All right. So what would your favourite be?
Oh man, my favourite event just for the people that I met and the good time that I had would be DR1. That was amazing. Meeting all the guys from Rattle Riot, meeting Zach, Jordan, Bapu, Phil, Kevin, all those guys that I met, and the time that we had was just awesome.
Was that out in LA? Is that the one?
Yeah, that's it. I had such a good time there. I mean, the racing was it was good. The track was okay. I went out really early because I had a collision like in the knockout stages. I had problems with my quad. It was a bit crazy, but yeah, for the event itself and just for the having fun and just enjoying myself, I would say that was probably the best one of the year. In terms of the tracks, oh man, it's really difficult to pick one for the track. I would say Spanish Nationals had a really nice track as well. That had a really good flow to it. It's just a shame the flags kind of were overpowering the track, and it was quite difficult to see your way through the tree section. But I would say that's probably my best international track. The Spanish Nationals was pretty fun. But I went to so many events last year. I had so many good. I went to so many good. Flew so many good tracks and met so many good people. It's really difficult to pick just one.
Yeah, all good for different reasons, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
Brett, favourite UK track or event?
Probably Western Park again, because the racing was good, but it was also because it was we were there for 3 days, so it was more just there was enough time to not just focus on the racing, like in a 1 or 2 day event, so you could relax a bit and enjoy time with friends, and we still didn't even have time to all the other stuff around it, like the model air show. We didn't even have time to do that, but just the setting and whatnot felt really good, and the track was fun to fly as well.
Yeah. Quite a lot of people have chose Western from I've been speaking to from last year. Everyone wants there to be another event at Western Park this year, so if anyone's listening, I can get that arranged. I have been trying, but it's falling on deaf ears at the moment. So if anyone can get an event arranged, a race at Western Park in June, I think it's the end of June, 16th, 17th, 18th, something like that. The UK pilots want to see it, they will be there. So someone sort it out.
That's it. All you got to do is tell all the pilots when there's going to be a race and they'll be there, because that event, I think everyone had an amazing time there.
Yeah,
definitely. And the weather was good as well.
Yeah, weather was good. Night flying was great. Fireworks were great. Banterville was great. Do you have a favourite international, or did you only go to Ibiza?
Ibiza was the only racing event that I went to, which was good. Not
you did travel a bit.
I did some other travel. Went to Austria, also Germany. But it was a good event, even if not just because of just the event and the racing parts, but we were there for a few extra days and went to some cool locations, as part of Tornado X Blades, and had some fun like that. So it wasn't just focused on the event, which was nice. Enjoyed a good time with some good friends.
Yeah, lads away in Ibiza, you can't really complain, can you?
Yeah.
And Tom, out of the 5 events you went to, which one did you like?
Well, I'd hate to say Western Park again, but track-wise, it has to be, I think.
Yeah.
I think in terms of an event outside of the track and the racing, probably ice series.
Yeah.
It was a long weekend, but when we went out for dinner and stuff, it was
a good picture here, Richard.
No, that's for the private collection. I won't do it like that.
All right, as I say Farnborough, then I like staring at the plane.
Yeah, Farnborough was a really good event actually. Farnborough was
that
really
was
fun.
Interesting, yeah.
I forgot about Farnborough.
There were so many events, man.
Yeah.
I've forgotten about I've forgotten so many. There were so many good ones.
Farmville's interesting when you're flying and then suddenly there's like an F-35 doing maneuvers and it feels like the Earth is going to end. You're trying to still concentrate on where you're going.
Especially if you've got goggles on as well and you couldn't tell, and it just like the sound was so loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can fly with that type of distraction, it's quite hard to be distracted. It's a bit weird flying and then suddenly having a jet whizzing over, or flying. And then I was in one of the races, and the Airbus A380 took off, and I could see it in my goggles, and it was massive. Like I could actually see it in the goggles, like flying. It was like it was like it was in the cage with me. It was weird.
You wanted to chase after it, then you remembered there's a net in the way.
Yeah, that's when I got stuck in the roof. So that was great. I enjoyed that event.
Good weather on that one as well, so it makes a difference.
Yeah, British Championships was good, although we got washed out on the first day. It was fun.
Yeah, second day was good. Pretty good.
The second day made up for it. The amount of racing we got in on the second day, considering we were supposed to be all over on the Saturday, the guys did a really good job there. So hopefully
that was a great event. It was really good for British nationals as well. The track was real technical, but once you got it, it was rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was quite a lot of comments for kind of international pilots who were like, "No, that's what you call a track." Maybe it was a bit tight in places, but it was still kind of definitely one of the tightest that kind of I've seen for like a proper competition level racing. Kind of the challenge of it, you couldn't just go straight out.
Yeah, the upward sweep with the high gates as well, that was really good. That was the first time. I've seen that. I think with the gates going up on a curve and then dropping back down, that was pretty nice.
Yeah.
One of the best.
Yeah, I enjoyed that track. It was good fun.
Yeah, and the reverse split S as well.
Yeah, that was difficult. That's the first time I've ever even tried that. You turn there, I've got a split S, now you go the other way for it. Oh, okay.
And the invisible guy wise.
Yeah, invisible guy.
Yeah.
Invisible obstacles.
Well.
We practice them. We have invisible branches in our practice session, so you should be used to invisible guy wise. And then, so moving on to this year, fingers crossed that we're going to have a good racing year. If we can equal our top 2016, it'll be a good year in the UK. I don't have high hopes at the moment, but it is the winter blues. Hopefully everyone's got the winter blues, and when the weather kicks in again, everyone will get happy and start flying loads and arranging loads of events. But at the moment, no one really wants to commit to an outdoor event because being the UK, you can't even guarantee that we have nice weather in the summer. So why anyone would want to organise a race outdoors in February, I don't know. But hopefully we start getting some on the calendar soon.
I think we forget what the calendar was like this time last year as well. It was probably the same.
Yeah,
because we had the first event of the year last year we had the Triangle in February, which was an indoor event, and then we had Thunder Drone as well, which I think was in March-ish, something like that, and that's another indoor event.
And then
so the outdoor events didn't kick off until at least spring.
I think the first outdoor event was Leamington, wasn't it? And that was a complete washout, pretty much. Was that like April time as well? That rained so much.
Yeah,
I don't know how that one made it onto the calendar, to be honest.
Because we thought we was going to get about 4 events, so I didn't want to drop one of them.
Oh, that was when Justice turned to Justine and he wouldn't go out in the rain.
Yeah, he stayed in because he refused to fly. He pulled out his diva card.
He didn't want to get his hair wet.
I hope they do another Thunder Drone as well, because that track that they did there was pretty good indoors.
Yeah.
That was,
I did try asking, but the guys are now, because obviously they run, is it Furious FPV? Is that right?
Yeah, Tim's like the European distributor.
So they're a lot of their time is taken up in developing that and getting their products out. So I'm not sure if they'll actually have time for an event this year. Hopefully, because it was good fun.
Yeah, that'd be a shame if we don't get to go back there, and even if it's not that location, they had it pretty well lit up with the LEDs around on the racing line. That was really nice. That was the first event that we actually saw that. So it was pretty...
Anything else that you think you'd like to see for 2017? Lessons that we learned from last year? More notice for events, which again is hard for the UK because it's hard to organise an event months in advance when you don't know what the weather's going to be like.
I think more 3D elements in tracks would be cool. If we can do it in terms of, obviously, it's hard to do something that's kind of structurally sound that can take hits. But if you could do some stuff kind of so you have gates rather than just rule like that and go through a gate that way, you want to do gates up and down, like similar to what
Yeah, they had that on DRL, didn't they?
Yeah, what they're doing in DRL, some of them, if you do it right, can kind of add a real extra element and kind of really challenge the pilot's skill. Because otherwise, there's no point just racing around on flat ground, because then you might as well just be racing a car, which is that's what makes the quads and kind of drone racing completely different. It's how you can use that 3D element.
Yeah, we've got the third dimension. We might as well make as much use of it as we can.
And that'll be what kind of pushes pilots to the limits, I think, because it's hard to practice it yourself in a way.
Yeah, and my freestyle.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is where can you practice it? You can't set up those vertical elements on your own. Well, I can't anyway. We've not been able to do it anyway.
Mac was doing it.
Yeah, I know, but he's got Peter helping him out, and he's crazy.
He's really progressed over the last 6 months. Like since he came over here and flew at Farnborough, he's been putting in the practice. Yeah. Like he saw the UK tracks and the way the UK practice, and he's really upped his game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he's improved massively.
And he wasn't slow to
start. Those guys have just their learning curve has been exponential this year. Like you watch them flying at the beginning of the year, and then you watch them flying now. They're totally different pilots. They fly incredibly well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have realised that kind of consistency is kind of more key than speed at the moment. Whereas at the start of the year, I'm kind of like, oh, let's kind of go all out and just hope I finish this race. Like for like UK pilots as well, and people are starting to realise that you can't win if you don't finish. I think that's definitely a big kind of changing point in kind of how pilots approach the races. You kind of got to pace yourself rather than just kind of flying for yourself, I guess.
Yeah. It's better to finish the race second or third and learn from it than not finish at all. That's my view anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be able to accept when you're kind of beaten in that specific race, rather than just kind of throwing it all away for nothing.
Yeah. If you finish the race, you'll always learn something. You'll know what to do better next time. But if you don't finish the race, you don't really learn anything. Well, that's my opinion.
If you go out in the first lap,
I learn how to
fix
quads.
So, I want to see bigger quads.
Are you building a hype for the Freedom class? It's just apparently coming. It's apparently been coming for the last year. We've got a Stanton Frames TS Freedom.
Well, not yet, but I think we need to start a Reading 700 size quad race event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom's paying for the spare parts. Yeah.
No.
Are we practicing around Stanton Raceway with those?
Ooh. I think instead of hitting the fence, they're going to go through the fence. But...
And then the house next door as well, probably.
I'll be taking out more than daffodils with one of them, I'll tell you. I'll be taking them trees down.
But no, in all seriousness, those 750 size quads, the one that Yves from Sky Hero had in Ibiza, it wasn't FPV, but the sound it made and the presence it had in the sky was awesome.
It's so loud. That's what's
there was nothing else like it. Like it wasn't that high pitched squeal. It was like a really low, like whooshing sound as it went past. It was really something to see.
It's similar to kind of.
Shame that it ended up in the bottom of a ravine.
Yeah. If anyone wants to go find that, it's somewhere in Ibiza.
If you enjoy a spot of canyoning, you might find yourself a drone.
I think it's similar to kind of in the 3D helicopter scene, in terms of you can do all of the kind of maneuvers with the small ones, the bigger ones like the 700 size class. Just the presence in the air is kind of insane compared to the smaller ones, and it kind of adds that extra dimension and kind of drama to it. And the fact that when you crash, it's kind of a bit more expensive, so it's always a bit more exciting, I think.
Yeah. Well, if they want to send us 4 Sky Heroes, I'll happily arrange a race of them. I'm sure we've got enough FPV gear between us to get them in the air and have a race.
I don't think we're there yet for that though. It's a nice project to try and just have something to play around with, but we're nowhere near needing that type of those type of quads yet.
I think we need to. There's kind of more like a 400 or 500 size class that needs to happen first as a stepping stone, just because the electronics aren't ready for the kind of high-end class, I would say. There's so many issues with them.
I think they need to be crash resistant as well, because one of the main draws to flying these little racing quads when I first started was the durability of them. From coming from 3D helicopters, if you have a rough landing, it's costing you 70, 80 quid. Whereas these things, you can bounce them off the floor all weekend and it costs you a couple of props.
Yeah.
And I think as they get bigger, we might lose that durability, because if you've got a meter-sized quadcopter, it's not going to crash like our little ones.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem, is that for kind of an individual to do it, it's going to be hard in terms of cost. Whereas, like, it's all right, like, places like DRL, when they do meets, they have like 500 quads that they build or something. So even if, say, you're going to have kind of less crashes at least because of they're bigger and people are less likely to crash them, they could maybe afford to build 100 or something of them. But it's still kind of, from an individual perspective and practicing with that, you can't just go pick it up again. It's not a change of props anymore. It's like hours and hours of building again.
Yeah.
I still want to make one.
Is that a hint to the next Tom Stanton FPV video that we're going to see?
Maybe.
We'll see plenty of wing videos before that one, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a lot of plans.
A lot of plans. Well, I warn you, summer is on its way. The days are getting longer and racing will soon be in full effect. So if you don't get the practice in, you'll see JusticeFPV, CollisionFPV, Ratty from Inside FPV lapping you.
Not me
though. Get practicing. Well, I think that's probably long enough, guys. I was planning to talk for 20 minutes, but we're coming up to 40. Well, I'd say probably 35, considering my errors at the beginning that are going to get cut off this and nobody's going to see. So I'd like to thank you all for chatting with me about this. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, give it a thumbs up and like, subscribe. Check out these guys' channels, JusticeFPV, CollisionFPV, Stanton Frames, Tom Stanton. If there's anything you'd like to see us talk about in the podcast, let us know. If there's any guests you'd like to see us get on, let us know. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you at some races in 2000.
We're not going to talk about soft mounting motors, though. That's it.
Soft mounting motors. I think that hype train left the station, crashed and burnt.
No, but it revived itself. Josh Broadwell revived it.
Really?
It was almost dead, and then he kind of, brought it back to life.
Some people like to flog a dead horse. Some people like to jump aboard the next hype train.
What's the next hype train?
Richard, I heard it was 5.5 inch props. That's what I heard.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
5.5 inch.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, my frames don't have room for 5.5 inches.
Tom.
Hint. So, right, well, let's wrap it up there, guys. Thank you very much. Hopefully see you at some amazing events for 2017. Let's hope it's a good year's racing. We'll be back for another podcast next month. I'm hopefully going to be able to do a few race casts, is what I'm calling them. Be live from some race events. I will take the day off racing and I will interview pilots and organisers and anyone else that will talk to me on camera. So if you see me and you want to chat, give me a shout. Thank you very much, guys. What's he scratching his head with there? That's a nice bit of glass.
My trophy's around the corner. What? Again?
My trophies are in the other room. I had to build a whole room.
That's
for
my
him.
soldering iron, Tom. Oh no, it's not.
That's actually mine. This is mine.